be seated. Great job, worship team, man. I love those moments just when the Lord is moving like that. Don't you guys love those moments? Yeah, they're my favorite, man. That's my favorite. We're going to be in the book of Mark, chapters. I don't know where we're going to go, to be fully honest, or where we're going to end, but we'll get there. It's good to be back. I've missed you guys. Come on, man. We've missed you guys. I went to a bunch of churches and preached once to kick off our break, and then I've went. And yesterday I come to the realization that we've been in ministry like 16 years, and this is probably the longest break that I've had from communicating with people, the word or otherwise. And that was like this moment of, oh my gosh, well, I even remember how. Come on, somebody. Come on. So listen, if it's a mess, you just it's okay. Come on, right? This lady that was in Stockton, she was 94 years old. She'd still play the piano. If you were in Stockton for very long, you knew Miss Winona. She was amazing. And she was playing the piano one time, and someone said a song, and she just did a run and started playing that piano. And afterwards, I came up to her, and I was like, Miss Winona, that was incredible. She's like, well, thanks, kid. She called everybody kid. You could have been 102, and she'd have called you kid. That's the gospel truth. And she said, well, thanks, kid. I said, I'd never heard that song. And she said, well, neither had I. I said, you played it perfectly. She goes, yeah, I did. I said, that's incredible. She goes, well, listen, kid. If it's good, praise Jesus. If it's bad, blame him. Come on, somebody. So that's what I'm living with today. If it's good, thank Jesus. If it's bad, blame him. Want to welcome all of our online, Home with the Hill Church online. Say, can we put our hands together for all of us watching online today? We love you guys. We are so thankful that you're joining in with us wherever you're from. Mark chapter 5, let's kick it off. We're just gonna do this verse by verse because I told them to put the whole book up there because I don't know where we're gonna start and end. That's a big breath. I'm out of shape, y'all. They came to the other side of the sea, to the country of the Gerasenes, all right? And Jesus stepped out of the boat. Immediately there met him out of the tombs a man with an unclean spirit. Now I got to pause because I want to go back to verse 1, because verse 1, when I read it, it messed with me, right? They come to the other side of the sea. Now, so often in life, we're always talking about what happens when we get there, right? We're always celebrating what happens when you arrive. We're always celebrating like who won the finals, right? We're celebrating the fact that the Suns are making everybody look like a junior high team in this. You're watching, right? We celebrate the fact whoever wins the World Series or the Super Bowl or American Idol or The Voice, right? We always celebrate the outcome, but we overlook the process. Come on, somebody. Y'all gotta wake up this morning. See, so often in our life, we celebrate what has become, but we don't, for people, we celebrate what they've become, but we don't see what it took for them to get there. Dr. DJ, can you relate to me today, right? A lot of schooling and his process, right? And we look and we celebrate what he is, but we don't realize how many hours he spent with his nose in a book to make it happen. Come on, somebody. We have this thing in our life where we celebrate people that kill big deer, but we don't really look at the process of what it took for them to kill big deer. Not everyone's just blessed like I am. Come on, somebody. Some of them put in a lot of work. Jesus, before we can really talk about the highlight of this testimony, I feel like we have to go back. Jesus is on the other side of the sea, and he's having a revival. Like Pastor JR, like it's good. Like they're looking around, there's like 5,000 people plus their wives and their kids, and back then they didn't really count. Kids didn't have a say, and unfortunately their wives barely had a say, so they only counted the men, and so there's 5,000 or whatever, man. There could have been 12, 20,000 people, we don't know, but there's thousands of people, right? They're in the midst of an absolute revival, and Jesus goes, hey, I want to go over there. Like, from a leadership standpoint, can you understand what just happened? Like, it is the pinnacle of success, right? That would be, let's pretend for a minute that maybe the greatest basketball player of all time just finished a three-peat and then said, I'm going to go try baseball. Michael Jordan fans, come on now. Like, you're going, what? Like, you're at the highest point of your game. You are absolutely you ever quit doing what you're doing to try to do something else that's not going to be near as successful as that's what Jesus did. He's ministering to multitudes. And he says, nah, oh, I'm going to go over there. Yeah, I'm going to go over there. Let's go to the other side of the sea. So Jesus gets in the boat, and they set sail. And along as they go, this fierce gale, like this storm rises up in the middle of the sea. And you guys know the story, and I don't want to preach the story necessarily, but the disciples, first of all, they've got their pail. There we go. I don't want to be throwing money all over the place. They got their pail and they're dumping water. They're like, we're going to drown. Don't wake up Jesus. He's tired. He just cooked lunch for 20,000 people. We got to get the water out of the boat. Don't wake up Jesus. Don't wake up Jesus. They're trying to figure out the solution to this problem all by themselves. Have you been there? Don't bother Jesus. I got this. I'm the only one. Okay, well, I already answered the altar call, so it's on you. Come on, somebody. Any of us, we get there, we're like, I can do this all by myself. And we're trying our best to figure out how to fix our spouse. Because it's always their problem, right? Because we are incapable of having any issues. You know one thing that helped me become a better husband? Is to realize I'm the problem. Come on, somebody. You know what will help you become a better wife? Assume that you're the problem. What'll make you be a better husband? Assume that you're the problem. We talked about this a minute ago, Pastor JR. Assume that you've got some work to do, and don't assume that you got it all figured out. They're trying to get this all figured out, and finally one of them's like, someone's got to wake up Jesus. So they get Jesus, they wake him up, he gets on the boat, and he's tired, he's sleeping, and he looks around, and he yawns, and he looks at the storm that is really a demonic attack. He looks at the storm, and he goes, shh, I'm trying to take a nap. He says, peace, be still. And the storm subsides, and the disciples are like, Bartholomew, did you see that? Andrew? You know they were all thinking, who's going to say something? It's got to be Peter, because he always puts his foot in his mouth. They're looking around, and Jesus calms the storm, and he turns around to them, and he said, what is the matter with your faith? Now, I've talked on this before, so I don't want to spend forever on this moment. But I thought to myself a long time ago, I said, Lord, I don't get it, because they were trying by themselves and it wasn't working. And then they woke you up, which is like what I thought they were supposed to do. So they've never seen a storm calm. They've never seen that kind of miraculous power. So how do they not have the faith for it? Like, I'm struggling with this, right? I don't comprehend why you were upset with them. And the Lord spoke to my heart, and he said, I wasn't upset that they didn't speak to the storm. I'm upset that they allowed the storm, come on somebody, to begin to dictate their actions. I'm not upset that they tried to handle necessarily the storm. I'm upset that when I said we're going to go to the other side, they didn't trust me at my word. And I thought, how many of us, when God has given us a word, or when we read his word, do we struggle to say, so be it, God? Your word says it, so be it. The truth is, we have faith. The unfortunate truth is, we have faith in the storm, not God. We have more faith in the storm than we do God. I wonder, when they set sail and the storm came up, I wonder if they thought to themselves like, oh great, we're going to die. We know they did. I wonder if they were like, we're going to die and we're not even going to get to do what God said we were going to do. I wonder if they were in this place like, this storm is going to keep us from accomplishing the very thing, the very place that God has called us to go. I know they did, because that's essentially what they said. My question is this: why do we do that? Right? Like, why do we think when Jesus said, go, He sent his word. Now in Psalms it says, you've seen your spirit and mountains are created. Genesis chapter 1, it says the spirit of the living God hovered over the waters of the deep, right? So, which is the Holy Spirit. The Holy Spirit is the acting agent of the Godhead, okay? And so when Jesus said, we're going to the other side, hell couldn't stop him. Come on, somebody. No bad decision could stop him. Come on. I think the boat could have sank and that mud would have turned into a submarine and they would have made it to the other side. Because see, his word is what holds the sun and the moon in the sky. His word is what holds gravity in place. His word is what started everything that we see, and his word is what holds everything we see in place. Okay? So when he said we're going to go to the other side, he knew full well that there was going to be something that would try to stop them from doing what God wanted them to do. Why are we so surprised when there's a hindrance in our process? Like outside of Denver, the Suns have had some issues, man. They struggled with LeBron, but they weren't surprised. See, the same thing is in the spirit. When we go to do some things that God has called us to do, when we try to become the husband that we're supposed to be, or the wife that we're supposed to be, or the father, or the mother, or the worship leader, or the pastor, or the business guy, or the farmer, or the teacher, or the AV guy, or whatever it is in your life, when you try to become what God said you're supposed to become, in the process, there is always something that is going to be there to hinder you. Why? Because the devil, the enemy, he's the adversary of your soul. He wants anything more. His biggest attack in our lives is identity. So he wants anything more than for us to realize we are who he says we are. So Jesus got up on that boat and he said, my feelings are, he wasn't mad. Like this, shh, I'm trying to sleep. And then he looks at them, dead in the eyes. You don't trust me? I think if Jesus was standing here right now with some of the situations in our life, he would look at us in the eyes and go, Fable, you don't trust me? Have I ever let you down before? Have I ever let you have I let anything take you out before? Right? He's in this moment. He's not mad. He looks and he goes, I'm on an assignment. I need you to trust me. And then Jesus goes back to sleep. Now, chapter 5. Now we're caught up for the first 20 minutes of my message. Sorry. I'll be good. We'll finish on time. Maybe. Come on, somebody. Anyhow, okay. And when Jesus stepped out of the boat, immediately there met him out of the tombs, this big, buff, strong, demon-possessed guy, right? Now, obviously, like for us, we would be like, oh my gosh, are you kidding me? I got to deal with this dude now. Anybody else? They'd be like, are you kidding me? I got the slowest. We were on our sabbatical. There was this one restaurant I really, really, really wanted to try. It was in Williams, what state were we in? Arizona, right by the Grand Canyon. And so we go to this restaurant. I really want to try it. And you know what I learned? It was my problem. Come on, somebody. And we sat down, and they got us seated. It was a busy place. They got us seated pretty quick. And it was like an hour and 15 minutes before they brought our water. Now, if y'all know me, your boy ain't patient. Megan's very patient. 30 minutes in, she was like, light a match, burn the place down, let's move on. I was like, no, we're going to be sweet. It was an hour and 45 minutes before they brought us our food, got it all wrong. Sweet Jesus. I was like praying in the Holy Ghost. Right? I was like, naturally, we get this one waitress that her friends are sitting right next to us, and she just wants to talk to her friends all the time and not want to do her job. And I'm getting like that attitude that we get sometimes, you know, and I'm going off. And then I'm realizing, no. It could have been a situation like this with Jesus, that the very thing that they're afraid of, the very thing that seems to be opposing them, is the very person that God wanted Jesus to reach. And the Lord said, no, you're going to stay, and you're going to tip her ridiculous. And I'm like, but God, that's rewarding bad behavior. And I'm listening to her gripe about all the other servers and how slow they are. And I'm about to cut my wrists. I'm going to lose it. But we did, don't worry, tipped really well and blessed her. and didn't leave a bad review on Google, even though I wanted to. Y'all don't feel me, come on. You know, if you know, you know. Jesus gets out of the boat, and this guy comes running up. And I don't know what he looked like, demon-possessed, but I imagine it was crazy. Like that kind of stuff, right? Like I imagine it was going down. And Jesus looks at him, next verse, and Jesus looks at him, right? And it's now pause. It says he lived among the tombs, and no one could bind him. Say it. Anymore. No one could hold him down anymore. Not even with a chain. We'll come back to, we'll tie these two together. For he had often, verse 4, he had often been bound with shackles, that's feet, and chains, but he broke them apart, and he broke the shackles into pieces, and no one had the strength to subdue him. Isn't it interesting? They were trying to subdue what really needed freedom. They were trying to bind what Jesus came to set free. They were trying to hold down what God sent Jesus on the earth to raise up. Come on, somebody. They were trying to contain what God was wanting to let loose. And I wonder how many of us in our own life have got some stuff that we've been trying to contain. Come on now. We got some stuff that we've been trying to subdue. And in this moment, God's like, quit trying to hold down what I want to rise up. Quit trying to shackle and tie up what I have came to bring freedom to. Amen. Then I thought, how many people are we like, my God, get that person some medication? We all know them, right? What do I always say? You're thinking of someone, if not, someone's thinking of you. Gets a laugh like a quarter of the time. Office. They're trying to bind this guy. They're trying to figure out how to subdue him. But all he really ever needed was freedom. And I thought, how true is that in our lives? Like real talk, y'all. This guy, matter of fact, he'd been living among the, go to verse 5. Night and day. Among the tombs and on the mountains, he was crying out, cutting himself with stones. Are you reading like I'm reading that? Can we BJV this thing? 24 hours a day, he was dealing with something he couldn't control. 24 hours a day, he had this issue. 24 hours a day, for him it was a demon. 24 hours a day, he had this ever-present awareness that he was a mess. There's two things I want to point out. Pain isn't a location. Because he tried to move his location. Tombs, mountains. How many of y'all do that? Maybe if I move to this relationship. Maybe if I go to this job. No, you'll take poor work ethic with you. Come on, somebody. Y'all, it's been too long, huh? Maybe the next guy or the next girl. No, you're going to take some bad relationship strategy with you. Because see, pain is not a location, right? And not all pain is external. His wasn't. He's in this place and he's completely got all these issues and he's moving from place to place trying to find a moment of freedom day and night. And then I think it's fascinating. He's crying out, cutting himself with stones. That's really pointing to the law because of the tablets, right? The stone tablets. See, when day and night he was trying to compare himself to what would be considered holy, and all it did was seem to cut him to pieces. All it did was bring him lower and lower and more alone. Come on, somebody, and more broken and more broken and more lonely and more broken and more hurt and more lonely. Because see, the law that was meant to bring wholeness minus a relationship with God, it really only makes you aware of all your struggles. And if we were to be real for the next 3 minutes of time, I'm going to preach more than that, just 3 minutes, I want you to be real. If we were going to be real with ourselves for the 3 minutes of time, that right there, verse 5, is what we think Christianity is. I got these issues. I tried moving. I tried dealing with them. I got them when I get up. I got them when I go to bed. I got them all day long. And when I compare myself to everybody else, I realize how broken I am. And that's a good start. The problem is we end there. Because see, we should say, when I compare myself to Jesus, I realize how broken I am and how much I need Jesus because he can make me whole. But we don't. We compare ourselves. And we're, our insufficiencies, our struggles, our sin, our problems are so incredibly evident. They're screaming out loud that we just kind of give up. Now, we don't give up, you're here, right? So you're not like, I give up, I'm just going to go to hell, who cares? No. But we do give up thinking they could ever be better. And Jesus looks at us and says, I thought you trusted me. Oh, come on, somebody. It's interesting. What the disciples had to deal with to get to this moment is what this guy has dealt with his entire life. I cannot beat this thing on my own. Join a hill group. Grow tracks after service. Come on. Verse 6. And when Jesus saw him from afar, he ran and fell down before him. Now, can you imagine some dude running at you like John Lynch blow somebody up when they're coming across the middle to catch a pass? Is that too old of a reference, football? It's back when they were allowed to hit. Come on, somebody. Anyhow, Jesus gets out of the boat, and as he steps out of the boat, he sees this guy doing that thing. He gets out of the boat, and the dude comes right. I wonder which disciple was like, you protect him. Look at that guy. He's foaming at the mouth. He got rabies. I ain't touching him. I wonder, right? And the dude, I imagine him doing like a baseball slide into home plate at Jesus' feet. He slides all the way in to Jesus' feet, and he falls down, and look what he says. And crying out with a loud voice, the demons begin to talk. Jesus, Son of the Most High God, my God, please don't torment me. Isn't that interesting? Now, in this case, it's a demon. But the thing that has been tormenting this guy for decades, when he's in the presence of God, he realizes his only posture is to bow down. Ooh, come on, addiction. Come on, lust. Come on, depression. Come on, poverty. Come on, anger. Come on, unforgiveness. Come on, bitterness. Come on now. In the presence of God, its only posture is to bow. That blows my mind. That's why we sing a song, I'm going to wait on you. I'm going to wait on you. Because see, I'm aware of my issues. But when I'm in his presence, my issues have one stance they can take. And that's to bow. Come on, somebody. I'm blown away right here. Please, buy your daddy. God, Jesus, God's his dad. I assure you, buy your daddy. Don't torment me. Next verse. Yeah. We'll move fast through these, and then worship team, you can come on out. For he was saying to him, come out, you unclean spirit. And we'll stop there. And then the guy's like, can you cast me into the pigs? And Jesus is like, that's great because we don't eat pork. The demon's going to the pigs. And Jesus sends them all off the cliff, and they all die in the sea. Now, the guy that was crazy goes to town. And the people heard that the crazy legion, possessed by a legion guy, the guy that has always been a drug addict, the guy that has always been struggling, the guy that was always cheating on his spouse, right? The girl that was always gossiping about everybody, right? They realized the community saw a life change, and they go, hold up. Jesus, what happened? It's crazy. They told Jesus in this setting of scripture, like, go with me. Jackson, Jesus just performed in that region, probably the biggest miracle they had seen. And they look at Jesus and they went, can you please leave? You're scaring us. Check this out. The community knew how to deal with the guy when he was possessed, but not when he was free. Can I tell you, freedom, my God, freedom frightens people a whole lot more than captivity does. Come on, somebody. Because see, they knew how to deal with Crazy Bill when, is there any Bills here? They knew how to deal with Crazy Bill when he was gnashing and being crazy, right? They're like, just don't go near the tombs, try to put a chain on him and let's get away. Like they knew how to deal with it. But when he was free, they were like, oh. See, that's why sometimes when we come out of bondage into freedom, we lose relationships. This is good for somebody. It's good for somebody. When we get saved and we start to follow God, certain relationships go, you've changed. And you know what we say? No, I haven't. Yes, you have. The creator of the universe lives inside of you now. You've changed. And it's good. Get in a hill group, you'll make new relationships. I'm plugging that like a boss today. This guy comes to Jesus. And he said, bro, everybody's afraid of me much more now. Can I come with you? And Jesus says, no, go to Decapolis. You know what Decapolis is? It's not a city, it's 10 cities. He says, you're going to follow me, Eric Jack, but it's going to look different than it does for Peter. See, Peter follows me and he preaches on this platform. You're going to go to the cities or these areas, and it looks a little different, Emily, than other people do in ministry, but you're going to follow me and you're going to reach hundreds and maybe even thousands. And the people look at Jesus and they say, can you leave? And guess what Jesus does? Calls fire from heaven and kills everybody. No. Jesus goes, sure. I don't have time. But the Holy Spirit's a gentleman. And if you don't want him, he'll leave. If he's not welcome in your heart and in your life, he loves you so much that he'll escort himself out. Jesus gets on the boat. This part, Jack, Pastor Clinton, gets on the boat and goes back to the other side of the sea where he was just ministering to the multitudes. Do you see what happened? Jesus, from an outsider's perspective, put his entire team at risk through a storm. Put his entire team at risk of dealing with this demon-possessed person. Jesus put his own life at risk to reach one person. Can I tell you what the call on the Hill Church is? We're going to risk it all to reach one more. Come on, somebody. We're going to make ourselves uncomfortable to reach one more. Come on, somebody. We're gonna give like it doesn't make sense to reach one more. Come on, somebody. We're gonna tax our team a little more than is comfortable. Why? Because there's someone in the Gethsemanes that needs an encounter with God, and we are crazy enough to think maybe God can use us to reach just one more. What if that is something that got in our heart? As we went to work, we thought, what if I could reach just one more? What if with our kids, when their friends came over, we thought, what if I can reach just one more? 10 cities were infected with the gospel because Jesus said, I want to reach one more. We're tonight, I'm excited. You're all welcome to come. We're going to do a pop-up night of worship in El Dorado Springs. We don't have a church there. We got a lot of people that come from there to Stockton. You know why? You know why we're doing it? Are we going to plant a church? We don't know. Maybe, maybe not. Told the team from the very beginning. We might, but we might not. I don't know. But what if we can What if we can reach one more? What if we can reach one more? I'm in this place that I'm saying, God, I'm going to wait on you. Because with patience comes direction. And I'm a personality that hates to wait. I want to run. I'm like the greyhound in the starting box. I don't gamble at dog tracks. Don't think that. Just a reference. And the gate goes, I'm ready to run, man. But in the process of getting to where God has called us to be, there's a season that requires patience. You ready? Because it was time to get from one side to the other. I'm closing right now. There's a season that requires us to have patience and perseverance. Which one do you struggle with? God, I pray right now. Pastor Clinton's going to come close, but right now. And he's going to give an invitation. But right now, I pray for each and every person that's on their way from one side to the other, and they're struggling with patience or perseverance. Let them know, God, a location change doesn't solve their problems. Come on, somebody. What they don't need to do is try to lock it up. They need to let you out. Come on, somebody. God, what we need is patience and persistence. What we need, God, is patience and persistence. And until we arrive, we're going to wait on you.